welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the newest collection from Bee's Knees Lacquer. It's inspired by Empire of the Vampire, a novel by J. Kristoff. Before we get into the polishes, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know you like my live swatch and reviews, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do that too. I upload new live swatching videos every week. So this is Bee's Knees Lacquer's Black Friday release. So we have some limited edition polishes with this collection, one for Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday. Including those three, this collection has 12 polishes in all, so it's not a small collection. So this beautiful collection is going to launch beginning at noon Eastern Time on November 26th and will be available for pre-order through November 30th. Yeah. Unfortunately, there is currently a bottle shortage going on, and because of that, most of these polishes will have a capped pre-order, meaning that there will be a limited quantity available for purchase. So if you want to make sure you get everything that you like from this collection, shop right at noon on November 26th. For Black Friday, Bee's Knees Lacquer will also be having a site-wide 25% off sale. You can get 25% off of everything, excluding the unicorn pigment polishes. We also get to look forward to some new scents for the bath and body products with this release, as well as a bunch of respawns coming back. I know that was a lot of information, so I will leave it posted in the description box so you can check back later. We have 12 gorgeous polishes to look at today, so let's go ahead and get into the swatches. So for my review of this collection, I decided to group the polishes by finish. There are just so many crazy colors in this collection, so many shifts, so many like amazing flakies and glows that imagining putting them into rainbow order was like incomprehensible. So we're starting with the unicorn pigment polishes. This first one is called the Forever King, and it's described as being a rusty burgundy with green to blue sibling unicorn pigment. It's going to retail for $15, and there is a 400 bottle cap for this polish. That means there's only going to be 400 bottles made, and once they sell out, they may be gone forever. Maybe they'll come back in a respawn, but the fact that this has UP in it doesn't make that very likely. So on application, this one was quite sheer on the first coat, which in my experience is totally characteristic of unicorn pigment polishes. You want them to be more on the sheer side so you can appreciate all of that sparkly goodness. This one built up really well for me in 3 coats. It either reached full opacity or it was so close that I couldn't really tell if there was a nail line or not. And as you can see, the base builds up to this rich orangey, caramely, reddish color. It's really beautiful, especially for this time of year. So here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats and some lower outdoor lighting. You can see the base. At some lightings, it looks more orangey, and others, it looks more of like a burgundy brown. It's really unique. And man, does that unicorn pigment just glow. Pictured are 3 coats of the Forever King with a glossy top coat. And I did decide to throw in a few quick comparisons. So on the left, we have Faded Away, which was part of the Haunting of Bly Manor collection, and then on the right, the Forever King from this collection. As you can see, Faded Away has a much reddier pinky base, and it almost makes the Forever King look like a beautiful burnt orange base. The shimmer in Faded Away is a lot glowier in lower lighting, whereas the unicorn pigment in the Forever King is super sparkly and shines best in bright lighting. The second unicorn pigment polish in this release is called Liathe, and it's described as being a deep aubergine purple with red to green UP and ghost flakes. It's going to retail for $15 and will also have a cap of 400 bottles. So between the 2 unicorn pigment polishes, if you're only grabbing one, oh my goodness, get this one. In my opinion, get this one. It is so beautiful. Like, I'm talking, it's one of the standouts for me in this collection. I have a lot of favorites. I'll go through all of that at the end, but this one took my breath away. So I'm actually reading the descriptions for the first time as I'm doing this voiceover, and I would not have called it an aubergine purple. But now that I hear that description, I do see on the sides of the bottle there more of like a purple shift, but most of the bottle of polish is a beautiful glowing red, and those flakes and that unicorn pigment just flash so brightly like beautiful embers. Oh my goodness. this polish is everything. If you are a red polish lover, I think you should try this one. I think you will love this one. On application, it was perfect. It has a jelly base that was so smooth and easy to work with, incredibly pigmented, but didn't cause any staining for me. I did get some of those flakes and lots of that UP sparkle on the first coat, but man, look how rich and incredible that color got on the second coat. I think this one will probably be a 2-coater for most people, but if you've got longer nail length than mine, you may want 3. So here's what it looks like in my studio lighting. My gosh, heavy size. This one's like a showstopper, taking my breath away. It's just so sparkly with unicorn pigment in there. And then in lower lighting, which this is outdoor lower lighting, you can't see the unicorn pigment, but then the ghost flakies get to shine. And oh, to me, this polish just has everything. Seriously, it's love. This is what love feels like. Pictured are 2 coats of Liathe with a glossy top coat. And then I thought we'd use that red flaky to segue into more of our flakies. So the next 2 I'm going to show you have beautiful flakes. This one is called All Shall Kneel, and it's described as being an oxblood polish with glowy red to green iridescent flakes. This one will retail for $12.50, and it will have a cap of 200. So it has even a smaller cap. If you're not part of the Bee's Knees Lacquer Facebook group, you should totally go join. There she held a poll, the maker Sarah held a poll to see which polishes had the most interest and used that to gauge which she should have higher caps for. And this one must not have had a ton of interest, but my oh my, I'm shocked because it's beautiful. Definitely agree with the oxblood base color description. It's kind of like a pinky red, deep, beautiful color, and then the flakes in there do shift from red to green, and I feel like I see copper. I feel like I also see gold at certain angles. On application, this one had a super squishy jelly formula. If you've used any of the polishes that Bee's Knees Lacquer has come out with lately that have these chunky iridescent flakes in them, I would say the formula is very consistent to those. I'm thinking the price of being the greatest, made, Beware the Snellygaster, just to name a few. This one applies very much like those in that it's quite sheer, super squishy, but builds up nicely in 3 coats. And because of the depth of the base color, this one did reach full opacity for me in 3. Look at those flakes. Aren't they pretty? So here's what this one looked like in 3 coats. And once I took it outdoors in lower lighting, I fell in love with this one too. In bright lighting, I thought it was okay. But in lower lighting, when I saw all of these incredible shifts in the flakies and that beautiful pond effect, I can't talk, I'm too excited, with the layers, I was sold. Pictured are 3 coats of All Shall Kneel with a glossy top coat. Up next is another standout. I know, prepare yourself, there are a lot. And it's called the Black Lion. This is actually the Black Friday limited edition. So if you want it, make sure you're there to shop on the Friday, on Black Friday. I'm not sure if it'll continue to be available through the weekend, but I would make sure if you wanted this one, you grabbed it on Friday. And then if you wanted to pick up the Small Business Saturday and the Cyber Monday polishes, you could go back and add those to your cart and purchase them separately. And then Bee's Knees Lacquer, I'm sure, will combine your orders later. But anyway, the Black Lion is described as being a blackened indigo with gold and silver to blue iridescent flakes. This one's going to retail for $12.50 and does have a 200 bottle cap. So it was another one I just didn't think I'd be that wild about. I don't wear black that often. And this one, I know it says it's a blackened indigo. If I'm really looking hard, yes, I see that. But in almost every lighting situation, it basically looks black. But the flakes in here are truly magnificent. There are some big honkin' flakes and then some tiny little delicate flakes. And I just think it's super whimsical and fun. I was also very impressed with the opacity of this one. Most of the time, deep, dark polishes like this for me are 3-coaters because they have to be more sheer to show off those flakes, but this one was fully opaque in 2 coats. So here's what it looks like built up in 2 coats with a glossy top coat in my studio lighting. So pretty, like a rich, deep indigo, almost black. And then those flakies shift from silver to more of like an icy blue. And then you get the dazzling gold. It's like, it reminds me of the song Silver and Gold, Silver and Gold. It like almost has like a holiday feel, but like spooky holiday. Does that make sense? No? Okay. Pictured are 2 coats of the Black Lion with a glossy top coat. Continuing with our flaky polishes, the next one I have to share with you is called Silversaint, and it's described as being a silvery lilac magnetic with gold to green ghost flakes. This one's going to retail for $15, and it does also have a 200 bottle cap. Ooh, I'm just reading the descriptions for the first time as I'm doing this voiceover, and I really like that one. That is a perfect description. So what you see all over this bottle is the magnetic pigment. That silvery lilac shade is what gets magnetized, and once they get pulled in, they reveal the most beautiful gold to green ghost flakes. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, this one is super, super, super reactive to that magnet. It's really fun to play with. I wish I would have had more time to try some like cool designs like the stripes and like the, just different stuff, because honestly, such a fun polish and very unique too. So I always get requests to show what magnetic polishes look like built up without the magnet. So I thought I would share that with you too. So here's what it looks like built up in 2 coats. As you can see, you don't get to see those flakies in there. They're really hidden by that magnetic pigment. But of course you get that beautiful lilac silvery kind of metallic color all over the nail. So here's what it looks like magnetized. I'm applying a thin coat, going on with my magnet. Look how reactive. Oh my goodness. It almost has like a translucent base. And the magnetic effect, like I said, is just impeccable. It's super reactive and was really fun to try. I went in with a second coat and magnetized that, held it for 30 seconds. Get a little bit of a kind of grayish base color on that second coat. I did go in for a third, but spoiler, I never did reach full opacity. I am going to show you what this looks like as a topper over black, but here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats on its own. Very unusual, and like I said, I just love the look of the magnetic line and those green to gold ghost flakes. So here's what it looks like built up in 3. On those 3 nails, you can see it built up on its own. It's got a blackened grayish base. And then my favorite way to wear it is over black. How cool is that effect? Just beautiful. So pictured are 3 coats of Silversaint magnetized and 1 coat of Silversaint magnetized over black. Getting into our smaller flakies, next we have Empress of Wolves and Men. This one's described as being a silver to pink to green pastel multi-chrome with ebony flakes. This one's going to retail for $13 and will have a 200 bottle cap. This one was really cool too. It didn't end up being one of my favorites because, as you know, I am not a green lover, but this is a polish I'll be hanging on to because it's so cool. In bright lighting, you get a whole lot of that green shift and the pastel multi-chrome, and then in lower lighting, you get to see that beautiful silver and the pink too. The flakes are super crushed in here. They're very small, but packed in there. Like, as you can see, there's so many of those beautiful ebony flakes. This one, because of all those flakes, may dry down with a little bit of texture like Fruits of the Land. I didn't actually experience any texture with Fruits of the Land, nor did I experience any texture with this one. So your mileage may vary. This one actually surprised me a little bit on application. It kind of has like a sheer base, and then it's just packed with those ebony flakes and those green shifty pastel multi-chrome shimmers. I was able to reach opacity I was happy with in 2 coats, but I do see a little bit of my nail peeking through those 2 coats. So if you have staining, you may want to go in for 3 for this one. So here's what it looks like built up in those 2 coats. Look at that shift from green to silver. You can see some pink in there, and then of course those gorgeous ebony flakes. Pictured are 2 coats of Empress of Wolves and Men with a glossy top coat. Next is another pastel multichrome with some different flakes. This one's called Duskdancer, and it's described as being an aqua to purple pastel multichrome with holographic flakes and a scattering of black to red multichrome flakes. This one's going to retail for $13 and will be capped at 300 bottles. So glad this one has a little bit of a higher cap because it's another standout. The shimmer in this, the shift, I guess, of the multichrome kind of reminds me of Power Lay in Her Hand or I Will Devour All of You. It's kind of got like a gray feel to the base and then a strong blue to purple shift. And then of course it's got those brilliant holographic flecks. You can actually see the rainbow in these hollow flecks. And then of course it also has those red to black multichrome flakes that I've been loving so much. So on application, this one actually went on a lot like Empress of Wolves and Men. It had a sheer base, but tons of that pastel multichrome pigment packed in there, as well as the red to black multichrome flakes and the holographic flecks. I was actually happy with this one in 2 coats as well. Y'all know I'm not a fan of visible nail line on myself anyway. This one, I actually didn't have much VNL. I could see a little bit of my nail showing through, but no visible nail line. So here's what it looks like in some lower outdoor lighting. We see shifts to like green, aqua, blue, purple, and then of course that silvery base, those hollow flecks, and the red to black multichrome. This polish just reminds me of like an icy, cold, wintry day. It's so complex and unique. Pictured are 2 coats of Duskdancer with a glossy top coat. Continuing on with our pastel multichromes, this one is called Faekin, and it's described as being a green pastel multichrome that shifts red to olive with black to red multichrome flakes. It's going to retail for $13 and will have a 200 bottle cap. So this wasn't one of my top picks from this collection, but like the more I look at it and the more swatch photos I see of this polish, the more I fall in love with it. It only lifts those few shifts in the description, the green, the red, and the olive. But I think you'll see, especially in my lower lighting swatches, this one has like endless shifts. So if you are a green, olive polish lover, this one is one I think you will really, really enjoy. On application, this one surprised me. It is packed with those red to black multichrome flakes. If you've used any of her red to black multichrome flaky polishes in the past, some of them are more sparse with their flakies. This is not one of those. Look how many you get on 1 coat. And then in 2 coats, I reach full opacity. And between the pastel multichrome and the red black multichrome flakes, this is another one where it's just like, geez, how many things do you have going on in one polish? So here's what it looks like in low lighting. Like, okay, yeah, I love this polish. I see the green, I see the olive, I feel like I see some gold, I see some pink, burgundy, and then like, oh my goodness, it's all just so vibrant and bright. Yes, I agree it's a pastel multichrome, but it's borderline not because it's so vibrant. Pictured are 2 coats of Faekin with a glossy top coat. So I did want to throw in just a few comparisons for this one. On the far left is Heartmates from the From Blood and Ash collection, and then on the far right is Blood Moon from September's Polish Pickup. So Heartmates and Faekin look nothing alike on the nail. They look similar in the bottle, nothing alike on the nail. But Blood Moon is kind of close to this one. They both have that green gold shift, but Blood Moon has a lot more orange in it, whereas Faekin has more of that red and like bright green shift. Up next is another standout. I know, there are a lot. This one is Wretched, and it's described as being a deep raspberry pastel multichrome that shifts to purple and blue with black to red multichrome flakes. This is the last of those in this release. This polish will retail for $13 and will have a 300 bottle cap, so a little bit larger cap for this one. Thank goodness, because this polish is anything but wretched. But seriously, this one was, of course, naturally one of my favorites. I mean, it's a beautiful, bold, like magenta, raspberry shade, and then it's got that glowing shimmer that shifts purple to blue, and it's got red to black multichrome flakes. Say no more. This is a Rachel polish. If you feel like you have similar tastes to me in polish, I think you will really like this one too. On application, this one had a very lightly tinted base. You can see it kind of creates this raspberry pink glow on the nails, and those shimmers just contrast beautifully. This one built up nice for me in 3 coats. I could still see a little bit of nail line in 2. Maybe I could see a little bit in 3 too. You might want to pair it with a blurring base, but honestly for me, and I do have a pretty prominent visible nail line, in 3 coats my VNL was not noticeable. Here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats with a glossy top coat in lower outdoor lighting. The glow with this is absolutely ridiculous. Take it into bright lighting, which you'll see in my swatch photos, and it's even more vibrant than you could imagine. Just A+, bee's knees, knock this one out of the park. Pictured are 3 coats of Wretched with a glossy top coat. And we've been so lucky to get tons of pinky purples lately that I thought I'd throw in a comparison for this one too. So from left to right, we have You're Not Human, which has a reddier base than Wretched and also a green shift. I'd also say that You're Not Human is slightly more sheer. Wretched is a little bit more opaque, that's the next one. And then just as a color reference, I threw in Tell Me About Your Dreams from the American Horror Story Red Tide collection. It's obviously much more opaque, but does have kind of a similar shift to it. More opaque though, and no red, black, multi-chrome flakes. And then there at the end, I added Heartmates again from the From Blood and Ash collection. And you can see that one has totally different shifts than Wretched does. Heartmate shifts like gold to peach to copper and has like a greeny base, whereas Wretched is just straight up pinky purple goodness with that beautiful blue to purple shimmer. And don't forget, if this video has been helpful for you in deciding what to purchase, to give it a thumbs up. That's a huge help to my channel. So this next one, we're just going to call I'm a Queen. It's got an extra word in there. We're just going to omit for now. But I'm a Queen is described as being a yellow to blue pastel multi-chrome with sapphire flakes. This one's going to retail for $13 and it is capped at 300 bottles. So this one really reminded me of some polishes that Bee's Knees Lacquer has come out recently, like the Fruits of the Land and I Am No Lamb. And I am going to be doing a comparison with those 2 polishes after this swatch. It's got a beautiful like gold limey shimmer running throughout, and then those flakes just hover on top of the shimmer. It's a really cool effect. So on application, this one was super smooth, no difficulty removing those flakes. It built up to full opacity for me in 2 coats, and I would describe the flakes less like a sapphire. They're not dark enough for me to call them a sapphire, and more of like a sky blue. So here's what it looks like built up in 2 coats with a glossy top coat and some outdoor lighting. And I'm getting all of the described shifts. I see blue, I see gold, but I also see some green in there and maybe some peach as well. Super unique, super interesting, super beautiful. Pictured are 2 coats of I'm a Queen with a glossy top coat. So here are those comparisons and some lower outdoor lighting. I Am No Lamb has almost the same, if not exactly the same flakes as I'm a Queen, but the base, like the shifting multi-chrome, is very different. So the base of I Am No Lamb is more of a blue to peach shift, whereas I'm a Queen shifts lime to peach to blue to green. And then the Fruits of the Land, completely different. It's got more of a seafoamy flake and then a red to copper shifting multi-chrome. And we're going to finish up with a couple of stunning shifty shimmer polishes. This one is called Those Spiders Have Human Hands. See, now I have to read the novel because I must understand that name. This is actually the Small Business Saturday limited edition, and it's described as being a pale gray with glowy green shimmer. It's going to retail for $11 and will have a 300 bottle cap. So they describe it as a pale gray. If it is a pale gray, it's the softest pale gray I've ever seen. I would not call it a gray. I would call it a white. And I was so psyched to see this polish because I love whites, and I don't think I have any from Bee's Knees Lacquer. Like, I looked through my collection and was like, seriously, no whites? But no, I had some white multi-chromes, but those were mostly sheer. This one is super unique. from this brand for me. So on application, this one was quite sheer, got a lot of the shimmer on that first coat, but not much base color. I did end up building it to 3 coats and got very close to full opacity. It had a beautiful squishy finish and the nail line wasn't evident, but it was there. You know what I mean? Like it is with most white polishes. This one went on and applied so beautifully though, no patchiness, very easy to build up, just absolutely gorgeous. So here's what those spiders have human hands looks like, built up in 3 coats and some lower lighting. This is like dusk outdoors, and you see a lot of that green, but I will say in other lighting, you can see it shift to blue and purple as well, which was not in the description, but it's totally in this polish. Pictured are 3 coats of those spiders have human hands with a glossy top coat. And the final polish I have to share with you today is one I think is going to be wildly popular. It's called Coldblood, and it's described as being a black-based polish with aqua to blue shimmer. It's going to retail for $11, and it will also have a cap of $300. Whew, this was another one. I pulled it out of the box, and I was like, yep. It's going to be a favorite, and it was. It's got on the sides, you can see there, a gorgeous blackened base. I don't know that I would consider it quite a black, but maybe it's a jelly, so maybe like a jelly black. At some angles, it looks more like a charcoal, and it's got this most brilliant, dazzling, beautiful shimmer running throughout that shifts blue to aqua to cobalt to like almost indigo. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's the only word in my vocabulary to describe this. So on application, like I said before, it has more of a jelly-like feel, but wow, that shimmer inside of it is just so gorgeous, so beautiful. This one built up really nicely, dried down without any brush strokes as well, and I was able to reach full opacity in 2 coats. Maybe if you've got longer nails, you might need 3, but I think 2 will be good for most people. When this polish is built up in 2 coats in lower lighting, you can see all the shifts and it's just pure magic. We get the black on the edges, the shift to aqua, the shift to navy, like an indigo shift. It's kind of dusty. It's just really complex, super, super interesting, and I love it. Pictured are 2 coats of Coldblood with a glossy top coat. And again, Bee's Knees has just been so generous with their deep, beautiful blues lately that I had to throw in a comparison here too. As you can see, One Human Alcohol Beer Please truly does have a black, pure black base. It almost makes Coldblood look a little bit of a charcoal gray in comparison. And the One Human Alcohol Beer Please shimmer is much more sapphire / indigo compared to the beautiful cobalt to aqua shift we get in Coldblood. Lamia looks very light in comparison because it doesn't have a blackened base. It has a blue base, and it does have that same beautiful blue shimmer. It also shifts to purple and aqua, but it just appears overall to be much lighter. All right, so now I'm going to give you my final thoughts about this release. Overall, it's a gorgeous collection. If you're able to get all of them, I don't think you'd regret it. But if you're not able to, I'm going to tell you which ones I would grab. Warning, I do have a lot of favorites. One of the standouts for me was All Shall Kneel. Oh, this one was gorgeous. It was one of the first ones I swatched, and I didn't want to take it off. The way the flakes like shift in lower lighting is just so incredible. Definitely recommend this one. Another favorite of mine was Liathe. I hope I'm saying that right. Man, I don't usually like UP polishes, but the UP in here was so beautifully shifty, and it contrasts gorgeously against that deep, broody, vampy base. I also just love colors like this time of year. Another standout for me that was quite a surprise was the Black Lion. I don't usually wear black polishes. This one had amazing coverage. It was opaque for me in 2 coats, and the gold and blue silvery flakies were phenomenal in here. I was so impressed with this one. All right, we have 3 more. I told you I had a lot of favorites. These spiders have human hands, which that name is just ridiculous. But anyway, this one was another favorite. I don't have that many whites from Bee's Knees Lacquer, and I love white polishes, especially in the winter time. The shimmer in here, it's beautiful. I need more whites from Bee's Knees. I also really enjoyed wearing Coldblood. The boldness of the blue in here is ridiculous, and it just shifts to this really deep navy color. I love this one too. I also really enjoyed wearing Wretched. I love pinks. You know this, I know this, we know this. But this pink specifically was so complex. Like the shifts in here and then the flakies on top of that. This one was beautiful as well. And then the last one I absolutely had to include in my favorites is Duskdancer. Oh my goodness, this one is beautiful. The pastel multi-chrome shift is just perfect for winter, and it has the red and black multi-chrome flakes, and it has holographic flakes. I mean, come on, how could I not love this one? I know with Bee's Knees Lacquer closing shop here pretty soon, everyone is super eager to get their hands on as many Bee's Knees polishes as possible, so I wish you the best of luck with your Black Friday shopping. I hope you get everything you want. And in case you're in the mood to see some more beautiful polishes be swatched, you should check out some of my recent videos. I recently live swatched and reviewed China Glaze's Holiday 2021 collection called Jewels Royale. I also recently live swatched and reviewed KB Shimmer's Holiday 2021 collection called In Good Spirits. Oh, that one was gorgeous. And I recently live swatched and reviewed Stella Chroma's Vintage Holiday Glam collection. I'll leave those videos linked down in the description box so you can check them out. I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!